Hello, everybody. I am Myles Sergé with
the one and only D-KNOX, aka Donnell Knox, the co-host of MS
and welcome
Live.
to MS Live. What up, D? What's going on?
Man, I'm kind of tired because I was DJing last night and I just come back today. The whole thing was done under 24 hours, so I didn't really sleep. It's just the kind of like fake like you're sleeping, that kind of thing. And then sitting on the train, trying to keep awake because I want to watch my bags and stuff.
Okay. What did you play? What did you play and tell us about the gig?
Yeah, it was a gig. A guy hooked up a couple months back. Another DJ friend of mine that I know over here, and the gig was in this town called Szczecin. It's like in the northwest part of Poland. It's about 2 hours away from Berlin. In fact, a lot of people that live in Berlin go there, and a lot of Polish people that live in over there, they go to Berlin often. But it wasn't the regular house techno gig. I want to say it was more on the commercial side of the thing, but like most people that play like me, they were underground cats. But the event itself, you would probably say that it'd be like somebody playing Beyonce remixes of like house.
Oh wow!
But I just straight up played house music, like like back in the days how we used to go to Red Dog and Kabooms in Chicago, and I just played like mid-90s house music that I ripped from my vinyl actually, and straight in the tractor. Went over well. They loved it, so I know that house music can just cross over
right
wherever. But it was a lot of people. It was like kind of on the river thing on a little island. They had this carnival, like not a carnival, but you know how them little fairs they be setting up coming in town for a little bit, and they had a little rides and all that stuff. So that was on the side of it, and then they had this sand kind of beach. But yeah, it was like a sea of people over there. I just did my little thing, got in and got out. And got back, so that's why I'm a little, fairy, but I'm with y'all.
I see some of the. I think you posted a couple of videos, man. Look at a lot of people over there. It looked pretty cool too.
And it was even more when I was leaving. It was like hard to get out of there because I said, okay, I better go now, right after my set, or I'm never gonna get out of here. I'll be stuck here till the morning until the last dude play. And I was like, I can't do that with a 7 o'clock morning train. Back to Warsaw because it's not like that town is close. It took 5 hours to get there, but I got the fast train coming back, so that was like 4 and some change. 15 minutes to get back here. So, but it was, if they asked me to do it again, definitely, because they paid really good.
Okay, that's what matters, man. That's what matters.
Yeah, them kind and the tip part, I actually got to play earlier because I was supposed to play later. But because some kind of mistake they made, I got to play at 10 o'clock.
There you go.
Be done.
There you go. There you go.
3 a.m. till 7 or something.
Yeah.
So that was okay for me.
That's good, man. That's good.
Yeah. But I'll do it again if they ask. I'll just maybe bring some Beyonce remixes next time, or
or make your own edits or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Commercial stuff,
right.
So that's what happened yesterday. So today came back, the wifey and I, we went to the park, we did a bunch of stuff, and then we tried to finish it off by going to the park, but then it started to rain, so we came back here. So not much. But what's going on with yourself? Well, I see you sent me some music.
Yeah. Trying to, I got a couple of projects I need to actually work on today. I got I'm doing a project with me. And oh God, see, I'm just working too much. I can't even think, man. I'm doing a project. See, I can't even think. It'll come to me later. But anyway, I'm doing a project, a collab project with somebody, and his track has been done. I picked 2. I'm working on my half. I got 1 track done. 1 more to go. That should be done by today. I got some music for a compilation, and I gotta do, and just a lot of stuff, man. But we've been working like crazy, and it's just like trying to fit everything in with music, work, the show. And, it's getting tough, man. It's getting tough, but I gotta keep pushing.
It's good tough though, because I know a lot of people that are handicapped, like they get blind, they can't see, they can't hear, they just crippled in a way. They wish they could do, if they had opportunity they wish they can do all these things. And this plus it's just a mind thing. Like I know some people, man, they might work 14 hours a day and still are able to make music and still go to the gym.
Right.
You know, I mean, the cat that I was living with back in Kalamazoo when I was in college, this dude named Todd, I don't know how this dude slept maybe 45 minutes a day, but he was working a full-time job during the day, part-time in the evening at Mountain Jacks, and he was in school with me, taking classes at the college, and just staying up partying all night. So I couldn't live with him too long after that. I was like, you got too many people coming over here, man.
It's crazy, man. It's just crazy, just fitting that in. And I'm trying to take my career in a different way. I'm go back to school next month, taking 4 classes. I'm trying to get into skill trades at work. So
that makes sense.
It's gonna be tough, man. But I gotta do it, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, you can do it. As long as you're alive, you're breathing. Just tell yourself, okay, priorities. I gotta, I can't be messing around with half-asses. I gotta, just do my thing. So some people might have to get cut out the life for a while.
That's true.
If they just in your way, I mean, you're doing the same like me. I'm taking some of these free AI courses through Google and other sites because I figured, hey, I better learn. You better learn how to train my own AI to do my music.
Right. Or do your work.
Exactly.
That would be it. So yeah, we'll see. So yeah, once again, people, thank you for tuning in to MS Live.
Yes.
And it's time to do some business. If you like what you see, you like us, like, share, subscribe to the channel. And when you're there, hit that notification bell. It means a lot. It pushes up us in the algorithms, pushes up further so people can
all the way to heaven.
Yeah, there you go. Dougie Fresh right there. And as always say, if you do not like to see us for some reason, I don't know why. I mean, we're beautiful, I think, at least. Donnell is. I'll speak for, I can't speak for myself, but Donnell.
I'm always going to think I am. I'm always going to think great of myself, even if someone doesn't.
See,
it's the only way to be great,
There you go. Exactly. And if you don't want to see us, we are also available for your listening pleasure on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. You can also follow us on Instagram.
That's easy, guys.
That's really easy. MS Live with D-KNOX. And on X, formerly known as Twitter, under my combined account at Myles Sergé. That's probably going to change soon. We're trying to make everything separate, but for right now, we're going to do that. And the hate mail address, MS Live with D-KNOX at gmail.com. We welcome all criticism, suggestions on shows, content, all this and that. We're here. That's how you communicate with us.
Exactly.
I'll give you Donnell's phone number, but I don't think that would be a good idea.
Yeah. Some of y'all gonna get beat up. You get my phone number.
See, that's it too. So today we have a good friend that's joining us today. I've done a lot of work with this guy, and ironically, it's like one of the only labels I have at least more than 2 releases with in any kind of capacity. So that kind of says something. He tolerates me, but it's a very good friend, and we both love him. And he's a great person, label owner of Knotweed Records and DTM, Decision Making Theory. Yeah, there's more I can say. There's just so much to say about this guy. He's wonderful. So let's bring him to the stage. Our man, Philippe Petit.
Should I do a little dance?
There you go. We'll do it one more time.
Make sure you got your pants on.
Yeah, barely. It's hot out here.
Yes, hot over here. That's why I said make sure you got your pants on.
Yes.
It's been hot there.
How you doing today?
I'm good, and you?
I'm good. A little tired, but I'm good. Happy to see you, though.
Yeah, good to see you, brother.
Yes. So, yeah.
It looks so clean. It looks so clean in there.
Donnell, I haven't seen you for 10 years.
No, come on, man. For sure. Something really?
Yeah, it was the
10
time.
years?
Yeah, time flies. Yeah,
Jeez.
that time Myles played at Berghain the second time.
That's the last when we all went. That's the last in Berlin.
Yeah.
Years.
Damn, was that 10 years ago?
2014.
Yeah, because COVID feels like it was ages ago, and that was just around the corner, actually.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's been a while.
Oh, yeah, that's the day. Yeah, I remember that day. I got to me and Aubrey. We got because we was listening to Kennedy when we was jumping on the trains, and we decided not to purchase the pass.
I got busted.
And as soon as we get the second stop, the little dude comment. I was like, Kennedy, I told you.
Exactly that day.
Man.
Yeah, it's been a bit.
Quite an eventful day.
Yeah. Fun times.
Very nice day. It was a long 48 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, but it was good. It was great. It was good to see Myles there. We were all hanging. It was cool. Myles was rocking it. Just straight up vinyl style. That was like no CDJs, just like the old days, just playing records. But they had that groove. It had the sound. And we were all adding to it because we were all there together having a great time.
Yeah. That was the longest I ever played too. It was like 4 hours. I opened.
Yes.
4 hours, man.
Yeah. And your second release on Knotweed just came out about there. And I remember you said you got the long 10 minutes track on the big sound system. And it was like,
yeah, that was nice.
Amazing.
That was nice.
It's a really slow track. Even by today's standards or by these days standards, it was slow. And you played it really slow, and it took so much room in the room. It was amazing.
That was nice. Damn, I wish I had that recorded. I had a good time, man. That's like probably one of my top 5 sets of ever for sure.
And then we needed to wait almost how many 20 hours to see Aubrey.
Yeah.
That's right. Leave and come back. Yeah,
dude,
it was fun.
It was good times, man.
Yeah, it was good. It was fun, man. It's for me, it's like Berlin is always my play city.
Yes.
Some people call it the city, the playground for 40 something year olds, but I just call it a nice meeting spot.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't need to live there, but I like to go. If I did live there, I'd have to be on the outskirts. I couldn't be in the middle of all the party stuff all the time. I wouldn't mind being close just to come in, dap my toes in the water, have a little fun, and then, retreat to my little cave.
That's what I do from here.
Yeah.
See, he has it perfect. I wish I could just wake up in the morning and just be like, you know what? Let me just open my window, and there's this big ass mountain behind my house.
Wow.
He has the dopest house, man. The dopest scenery I've ever seen in my life. The air is so clean. You ever smell clean air? Like you really can smell clean air, and it's nice, and the view is nice. You see those little commercials on TV or in magazines. That's Philippe's house.
It's here.
Oh yeah.
So it's crazy. So if you've been following us, Philippe, we title each show.
Yes.
So there's an episode. No matrix numbers. I thought about that, but we just do episodes.
Yes.
So today's episode, MS Live for D-KNOX, episode 17.
Walking on a Tightrope. It's like my homonym. Did you see the movie?
No, I haven't.
The documentary about the guy who walked between the World Trade Center in 1974.
No, I haven't seen the movie, but I do know who he is. So, yeah.
Amazing guy.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to do that today.
No.
Even if the towers were still there, it wouldn't work.
Yeah. See, that's the crazy thing because he did that and now he's in Chamonix and he makes music.
Yeah, right. And I have the special magic potion to get younger.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right, D, you want to start it off today? Switch it up a little bit.
I do actually, because I always wondered. The question I do have for you, brother, is how did you guys actually meet? what's the story behind that? Because you guys are such good friends too. But what what was it? What was the day like? Where did you guys meet too?
Like meet in person, or just how did we meet? Period.
Well, the connection.
I want to say meet. Yeah. How did you meet? Period. But then later, where did you guys actually physically meet? And then
I can tell you about the connection and physical connection. But we met. Ooh, I see myself.
Yes. Yes.
The spotlight is on you.
I decided to start this label, Knotweed Records, in 2011, and I thought it would be I would be only releasing my own music because nobody wanted to release my music. So I thought, okay, I'll do it myself. And after I released the first record, Knotweed 1, in September 11, but I started talking about it in the summer of 11, Mick Darrell contacted me and said, oh, I'm really interested to release some music. And I had bought the Reform release that he had done with Myles, the red one. I don't remember the number. And so I knew his music, and I thought, this is crazy. I mean, I'm barely starting, and there's already somebody asking me to release their music, and he sends me demos, and the demos are great. And so I'm like, okay, we're going to do Knotweed 2 with your music. And through that, the label that I learned about Mike was Reform. And so I said, okay, who's behind Reform? And it was Myles. And so I got in touch with Myles. So that's how it started. And pretty quickly, I was new in the techno game, and I didn't know how it worked. And then Myles said, well, I have some music as well. And I'm like, okay, cool, send it to me. And that's how Knotweed 7 came to life, which was the Tarifa EP, the first release of Myles on Knotweed. And at that time, and so, we were talking, and I was getting a good relationship with Mike Darrell, a good relationship with Myles. And Myles, you were living in Brighton at the time. Mm-hmm. And I had just spent 15 years in London. So I kind of knew what Brighton was all about. And I needed to, at that time, I was still going back and forth to London a little bit. And so I said, well, I'll come and meet you in Brighton when I'm in England. And in fact, that was before you release. That was in 2013 or 2012. I don't remember. I mean, early days. And my wife and I came back to Brighton. We met. And at that time, I don't think if the first release was out already or not, but we got a connection. We spent a good afternoon in a good day in Brighton. There was a music connection, there was a personal connection, and we expanded from there on, basically. And and it's been 12, 13 years. Time flies.
Yeah. Okay. So y'all met in Brighton physically. Okay.
Yes. First time in Brighton. Yes, absolutely. Okay. When Mike was there, and then got the first release, and then Myles got interested in my music and said, "Oh, we're going to do a release of you on Reform," which I still have the artwork from.
Yeah.
Because you did the artwork, and I was like, "Wow, an American wants to release my music. This is so great."
Yeah. So you see this, right?
Yes.
There you go.
Absolutely.
That's it. That was the label. So still, I want to bring it back, but I think you were the last one.
Yeah, but then you shifted from Reform to your Dex label.
Oh, Space. Yeah.
Space, and finally the release saw the light of day on Space. I think it was a Space 6, if I'm remembering well.
Yeah.
And then I released Space 6 with you, and then you released Knotweed 14, and then we started to see each other more, and then you got your first gig in Berlin as not in Berlin but in Berghain.
Yep.
In 2013, and I said, I'll come and see you. And so I flew to support you and enjoy the show. And so that was fun. And then you get the second gig in Berlin, in Bergen, because you at that time Bergen was separated from Tresor, so you needed to choose a side.
Yeah, you did. You couldn't go both.
So I guess you had chosen the Bergen side, which was one. I mean, I guess once you're on one side, you're happy to be on that side, whichever side it is.
Yeah.
And then you get the second gig opening where I met you as well, Donnell and Aubrey, and then you hooked up with this guy in Switzerland, Lag, to master some of your releases, and so you came to Switzerland, and then you came to my house here in France, in Chamonix, and then we played together at Tresor after that, and yeah, we've been in contact ever since. So it's been a long ride, and we talk on a regular basis. And lucky me, I got to have a track on the latest various artists you did last year.
Yep.
Which I'm very grateful.
Yeah, that was dope.
That's dope. Good, man. That's beautiful, man. You guys had a long-standing relationship, but you just said something. I don't know if you realize, but you just gave yourself a nice EP title or album title. In regards to what you said about Myles, you said, "I have an American. There's an American that wants to release my music." I just when you said that, I said, I see album title right there. Like, as a person from Europe, an American wants to release my music. That's what you said, and I said, "Oh man, that's a good album." An album title.
Yes.
I guess he's getting his delivered pizza.
I'm turning off the phone. My wife is wondering where I am. In fact, I was wondering where she was. Sorry about that. Yeah, no, I agree. So, and then I had one of the latest Knotweed. I had a track which was more Detroit oriented, that I call Light Switch, and I thought, okay, this track needs to have remixes worked on, and that's how I got Myles back on Knotweed last year as well, with these remixes of Light Switch together with Brendan Muller, the ecologist, and Lee Holman, and it's a fantastic release, and for a change, it bombed.
Yeah, man.
But I guess we can come back to that later on in the interview. But it's the story of my life. Each release, whether it's my music or other people's music, I'm like, okay, this one
bombs.
This is the one. This is the one who's really gonna work, and then it doesn't work.
Yeah, but I think it's like that a lot. I think the things that people think, like, yeah, this is it, and it's not. And the thing that's usually is the thing that you thought it wasn't it.
Yeah,
and it happens.
Yeah, but I'm always happy because whatever I release, whether it's my music or you guys or other people's music, if I decide to put it on wax, it's always a well thought out decision, and so of course I'd rather have it working and played, but if it doesn't work, it's a bit sad.
Yeah.
But the music is out there, and I'm proud of it.
Right.
So that's fine. That's fine with me.
Yeah, it's usually how it goes, though. But the fact that it is out there, and when I've been seeing for myself lately, there's stuff I did like 10 years ago that people are hitting me up about.
Yep.
So I mean, they're digging or finding stuff, especially wax. You can actually dig and see it.
Yes.
In these shops, especially all over the world, Berlin specifically, you will see a lot of stuff you've never seen before. And for me, I catch a lot of records when I do buy records. I've always done this. It's a mental, like physical, mental thing, especially with artwork.
Yes.
If I see artwork or something that looks dope, I ain't even gotta listen to it. It's gonna draw me to it, and I'm gonna find it.
Yes.
Just to test it out. And I think that's what's happening now, because younger people they don't want to be digital all the time. I want to actually feel it. I want to see it. I want to touch something. I want to hear it. And I think that's where a lot of this stuff is coming back. And us, we're all, fairly the same age, but it's coming back. You know what I mean? You know, so people want to find these people or know what more they've done. You know what I mean? And I think that's the easiest way for it to happen. So the fact that you did put this out, it's going to come back 2-3 years later. Hey, what's this? What's this?
Somebody's going to discover A2 or B1 or whatever. It's going to be like, oh, this track is great. Let's play it. And I have stories like that, you know, when I did some various artists back in 2016, I think, Knotweed 19 and 20. And again, I thought, okay, this is the best various artists. We're going to sell the 300 copies and it's going to be great. And of course, it doesn't sell. It's like usual. But then a few months later, I bumped into, I meet Michael Fidel, who's a resident in Bergen. And he says, well, you know, that track from Julixo out of Knotweed 20, I play it all the time. And a lot of people play it all the time in Bergen. I'm like, okay, this is cool. So, you know, the tracks, maybe the record is not getting sold, but the tracks is being played. And so via that, that's how he got in contact with me, because he was making a Bergen mix. So we get to meet. And so there's always good things coming out of it. And then we get to meet in Berlin, and then we get good friends. And we develop, and I would never have developed that friendship if I hadn't released that record.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, sales is one thing, but there's many other good things coming out of running a record. Sales is what it is. But even if you sell your 200 copies or 300 copies, you're still not going to make money.
No,
it's all about not losing too much. That's for small labels like mine and yours. It's not about making money. It's about having fun and hopefully not losing too much money.
Right.
So
risk.
If you can do that, and it can open you a few doors and meet nice people like you guys and others, it's fine with me. That's what I want.
Yeah.
And each time, you know, each time I work on a new release, I'm like, okay, this time I'm not gonna release on vinyl because we sell so little. And then I'm like, no, this is too good. This has to be on vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
And so and I still haven't made the step, and I'm not sure I will ever make the step to release digital only, just because I guess although no, I can play. I mean, I play digital once in a while. It's just I need the object. I need to hold something in my hand. My brain is not ready yet to just buy digital and browse into on Beatport or Bandcamp or whatever. It's easier for me. I'd rather buy a piece of wax and then rip it in digital myself on my turntables and maybe play digital, but at least I know I have it on wax.
Right.
And so again, no, I'm the latest record didn't do too well, so I'm like, but somebody else sent me some music and it's fantastic, so I'm gonna continue on releasing music.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. And the only little downside is I play late. I mean, I've never played a lot of DJ gigs, but usually I use the money of the DJ gigs to finance the label. So no, I don't have much money from the DJ gigs as well. So it's not that it's become hard to balance the books from on the music side in the last 2 years. It is what it is. It's still my passion. So, you know, if I can break even with my passion, it's fine. And if I lose a tiny bit, it's fine as well.
That's true.
But that passion, that's the thing keeping you alive anyway. So,
yes,
you know what I mean? Keeping a young spirit and keeping you focused on certain things. So I never look at it as losing money. I used to before in the past, oh man, I'm just throwing money into this thing. What's happening? You know, like going to the record stores every other weekend, buying stuff, buying records or buying gear, you know, buying tapes to record on, getting it mastered, pressed and all this. But then later when I realized, well, actually that thing gave you life to do that. You know, you found ways to get money to keep it going. So It is, in fact, it's like a circle. You're just paying, but it's keeping you going. There's always enough to cover. As you said, maybe sometimes you lose a little bit more, but not too much. It seems like it always finds a way to balance itself and make up. Because I remember like when I was paying for everything, the money did always come back. But sometimes when I tried to cheat a little and when the download was big, like, okay, let me download some crack plugins or this or that. I didn't make any money from that stuff because it was just kind of like thievery. But when I actually, okay, let me pay for the program that I want. Let me pay for this. Let me pay for that. Then I noticed, oh, wait, look, Bandcamp. Oh, €50 today, for example. Or like, oh, somebody came with a surprise gig or, or the Juno contacted me, more records sold than I thought was going to sell. Or EPM, for example, you had a lot of streams, and that's what I said. Okay, that's how it works. What you pay into it is coming back. The more time you actually spend on it, it does come back. Because even if you go back in the past, look at Myles or someone like ourselves, we spent a lot of time making music and actually spending time going to other people's parties and hanging out. And then later we're the ones playing on the parties and people are coming to see us. But we put our time and energy back in the days, and we weren't thinking we're going to get rich. We're going to be the DJ playing. We're just going because, hey, let's go check it out. And it's all part of the music thing. But I do think this thing is giving us life, Absolutely. And look what it does. We meet people from all over the world. If I wasn't doing this, I would never meet you. If I was just staying in Kalamazoo, not doing this, and just decided to, I don't know, work a regular job there, go to church every Sunday, be married, like I wouldn't even know, but this music thing that's the rich part. That's the wealth, just sitting here talking to each other. That's actually wealth.
Absolutely.
It's not like it's, well, okay, not wealth. I can go buy me a hamburger, but it's wealth that,
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. Spiritual wealth in a way for me.
Yeah.
So.
No. And then in the early days, I was against digital, like you can be. And then I said, okay, this is ridiculous, and as you said, so I got early days on Bandcamp, and then finally I got a digital distributors not that long ago, I think just after COVID. And a good example, by the digital distributor, suddenly Knotweed 2, which is from Mike Darrow, started to be streamed, and I have no idea where it's being streamed at. But suddenly it started to pay €50 a month. And it lasted, no, it's over. So I have no idea where it comes from. I have no idea why it stopped, why it started. But all in all, 2 years in a row, I was able to pay some money to Mike Darrow. And as I said, usually I lose money on all releases. I'm always clear to my artists, it's not a money-making proposition.
Right.
I only pay split 50-50 the profits if we're in the black, which never happens usually. But then suddenly it happens. And so it's quite nice also with Mike, which I have a relationship like with you, Myles, to be able, he was as surprised as I was. I said, I can pay you €200 or whatever it was 2 years ago. And he was like, really? From where? And I'm like, well, from your first release on the label in 2011. And so it feels even better. I wish I could give, even if it's small amounts of money to all my artists. It's just I can't. There's a few. So there's a few that had tiny payments. And I have to say, when you get to that point and you're like, okay, that release is doing well, and it's doing well enough that I can cover the cost and split something, even if the amount is small, then the artist respects you even more, and it's such a good feeling to be able to give a little bit back.
That's true.
I mean, at least you're doing it that way. It's good.
Say that again.
At least you're doing it that way. It's good. You're not trying to do the Suge Knight thing and pay your artist by any means necessary. You're being real and keeping it clean. And hey, guys, it might be some money here and there. But,
I mean, I have my Excel table since day one, and so I know exactly how much I've lost on each release. but and then I see when it gets close to break even. And as I said, there's very few, but there's a few where we've been in the black, and so at the end of the year, I can give, even if it's not much, but I can give a little back, and it's maybe the best part of my year.
That's true.
Yeah.
So, how did this all start? As far as you and music and the whole career, like I know a few things about you, but I don't think I've ever asked you how did you get into this whole electronic music thing, like. Because I know you I think you were in a band at one point.
Yeah, I just found some old demos that of my metal band that I've.
Yeah, that's what it was, a metal band. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you can tell us the backstory, how did Philippe get started on this?
Yeah. In my background is more into I would say let's call it rock music. My mother was really into rock music, and my father was more in jazz, and they were not together. So I was living with my mother, so I didn't like jazz because I didn't like my father. But I got to jazz later on, and we got to go to. I had a very nice mother who took us to concerts early on, and I started to go to gigs from 1978 onwards. Jethro Tull was my first gig in 78, 79 AC/DC with Bon Scott, Judas Priest opening, and then I kept, this was my thing, music. And so when I got a little bit older, at 14 years old, I bought a guitar. My brother was in a punk band from 82 onwards, and that was cool. So I thought, okay, I need to be in a band as well. And so I bought a guitar and I started rehearsing and learning, listening to metal records. And then I started to play in a band in, I think, 85 or something like that. The first, what you can call a band, and where we're trying to make our own tracks. And at the same time, I was going to concerts, loads of concerts, everything. And so it was buying records all the time, but buying metal records, hardcore records, punk rock. And then when I got in around 17 years old or whatever, I started to go out at parties, and there were DJs playing music, and I didn't like the music. I was like, okay, I want to go out more, but I can't go out to parties if I don't like the music. There's no point. Just, I mean, of course, chasing girls and getting drunk, but it was not enough. I needed to like the music too, and I liked some of what I'm talking about. A lot of private parties in Brussels. I'm from Brussels originally.
Okay.
And there was a lot of interesting music, but a lot of stuff I didn't like in what the DJs were playing at these private parties. And in the music I was starting to buy and listen to, it was the start of acid jazz and all the funk crossover into jazz and dance floor jazz. That I liked, and I started buying that kind of records. And then when I had enough, I said, well, can I play? And to make a long story short, some people said, yeah, you can play. And I played a party, or 2 parties, 3 parties. And I was playing very eclectic, a lot of hip hop, acid jazz, dance floor jazz, and a tiny bit of house, the early days of Strictly Rhythm. Or the label I really liked was 8 Ball from New York City.
Yeah, that was good.
Because 8 Ball, you had some tracks, some slow tracks and some fast tracks. So I could play with that. And that's how I got into DJing. Is just by going to parties, thinking I need to listen to music that I like, and the best way to do it is to play it. And at that time, while I was DJing, let's call it DJing, I had my metal bands. I was playing the guitar in a few different metal bands in Brussels, and that's where I was making my contribution to music, if you want. And we were composing tracks, and we were not only doing covers; we were really making tracks and stuff.
Okay.
And So I had the DJing on one side, the metal band on the other side, and I wasn't making any electronic music. I wasn't interested in the machines, etc. But I got more and more interested into the DJs, especially the Black American guys coming from your region, from Detroit and around, that were playing a lot in Belgium in tiny clubs. And we had these big horrible parties like there are the festivals today with music I hated. So I was in my metal music, acid jazz, funk, hip hop. I could hear this electronic music coming and I hated it. I hated it with passion. I was like, never. But then I started digging and I heard, I think for the first time, I don't even know, a really strange party in Brussels with I think there was Jeff Mills and Robert Hood and whatever, a train station in Brussels. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And it was 91 or something. And so it caught my attention. And so I said, okay, this is like accelerate. People said, what was that party? I was like, the only definition I can come up with is accelerated funk or minimal funk. We needed to find a term. I didn't call it techno. I had funk in my head. And it was like funk. It's played by people who have the groove and it's played faster. I don't know what it's called, but I started to go to the record store and to dig in. And so I started to buy some house without too many vocals or some techno, which for me had the energy of the metal or the punk or the thrash metal scene. It was the same energy. It was just a different scene. And I like to be in a new scene, if you want, different than the metal scene, but that had as much energy. And then in late 94, I moved for work to London, and I had to stop my band, of course, because my band was based in Brussels, and I had too much work to start a new band. But I kept on DJing at private parties and buying a much more techno because I needed music where I could release all my energy. And so all that techno from the 93, 94, 95 corresponded to that. And then I spent many, many years thinking I want to make techno, but I don't have time. And so I went out a lot to many, many, many parties. And I was always thinking about the music. If one day I make electronic music, what do I like? What would I like to do? So I was going to get destroyed on drugs, of course, but also listening a lot and thinking, if one day I make electronic music, what will it sound like? And I sort of had it mapped out in my head. And then 16 years ago, I quit London to move to Chamonix with a plan. And the plan was to start making electronic music. So that music that I had listened to for a bit more than 15 years, I needed to transform it into something real that I could do here on my keyboard or so I didn't know how. I didn't know nothing. So of course I had heard of 909s and 808s and 303s and stuff. And I said, okay, what do I need to do? And so I spent 2 years on my computer figuring out with an Ableton had started, and I found Ableton. That was the software I found. I started pushing on my keyboard going doo, 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 and I was like, okay, this sounds like shit. And everybody was like, yeah, you need machines, you cannot do anything on Ableton. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I spent 2 years in my whole making music just on Ableton. And then I did the first record when I finally thought I have something that makes sense. And with the first, and everybody said, oh, hardware infused techno made on hardware synths, etc. And nobody realizes, and you can see behind me, there's amps, I have guitars and stuff, but I do not have machines. I have a machine that I'm talking to you through, which is my computer.
Right.
And that's the only machine I use and I've ever used. And I started making techno and understanding Ableton inside out. And I had a friend working in Ableton who was a real machine freak. He said, but you can do much more with Ableton because it's much more powerful than just a machine. You just need to know how to use it.
That's true. That is true.
And as I said, I spent a lot of time, and then finally it started sounding like something I liked. And then I did more and more and more. And each time I was thinking, okay, I need to buy some gear. And I was like, yeah, but what is that part of Ableton that I've never explored? And I started doing it, and I'm like, oh, new sounds, new this, new that. I'm like, okay, no gear yet. There's still something I need to explore. And it's been like that for 15 years. Each time I think I'm getting excited, well, maybe I should buy a synth or this or that. I'm like, let's try this little thing. And I come up with new sounds. And then the other thing is, I have, I think, 3 plugins. I just have Ableton, and that's it.
Yeah,
and because I refuse to go in the world of plugins and getting a mountain of plugins and of sound. And the only plugin I got is a plugin Myles gave me, which was the Polish synth, which is an emulation of the SH-106.
Oh wow! Yeah, I don't remember.
You gave me, and I was like, okay. Well, first plugin I got, I said, okay, how does it work? And then it's still, I think, in my production of last year.
Oh wow!
10 years later, and then I have a digital. I have a piece of I have a keyboard in front of me that I use to make melodies or whatever. And the keyboard is a V Station.
Okay.
V-Station was coming with B Station, which used to be hardware, and then they got into software. And I bought that in 2010. And so I had Ableton, V Station, B Station, just the keyboard to have a link to the computer. And there was some preset sounds in there that I've used, the plugin you gave me. And that's that. And it's just, last year I bought a new Mac, first time in 15 years as well. My Mac lasted 15 years. And my software for my V Station, B Station didn't work anymore.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And to make a long story short, I bought two new pieces. There's a new piece of software, which is a modern V Station. And so last year I bought 2 softwares. Well, and I have to say it's quite fun because in the tracks I've made recently, I'm like, whoa, this is cool. There's new sounds, new this, new that. But I like the minimalist approach.
Yeah.
To have as little as you can and to make as much as you can with as little as you can. That's my approach to this electronic.
So you do agree with the guy from your friend from Ableton that he said is really more powerful than hardware, because it's so in depth. Like I know somebody over there too. They actually sent me the Push 2, and then gave me Live 11, which was nice. It was a nice gift. But I was just thinking about what you said. It seems to be something with this 2-year number, because I remember Mark Hawkins telling me the same thing, that he spent about 2 years just immersing himself in the program, and then it just clicked. And myself, like, I use Ableton. That's all I use, basically. I was Fruity Loops before that. Then once I made the switch to Ableton, there was no going back. But it seemed to be the same. It took me about a good 2 years before I could really wrap my head around, this thing can do this and it can do that. But I always still like to have hardware. So I picked up hardware, but primarily Ableton is controlling my whole studio.
Yes.
So basically from Push, I don't even need to touch any of the hardware. I can control everything from Push. Yeah. And it's just sending the signals, to stuff. I just still like to get that. I still like to get some of that feedback noise, which I know I can do it in Ableton too. I know how to make, stuff sound really old in Ableton, but I still like it coming from the hardware, and I still like to sample into Ableton from my studio and chop it up. But I understand what you mean.
I tried to find a sound that I liked, and at the beginning, everybody was like, it sounds way too machiney, too flat, too digital. And I didn't really know what it meant. I just know it sounded shit. And then I knew nothing about compression. And then I found a tutorial 15 years ago for compression on drums, but on live drums, not on electronic drums.
Yeah.
And so that has been my go-to. And then I took notes and I said, oh, that's how you use a compressor. Okay. That's how you change your kick to get to a more interesting sound. And that kind of thing. So learning, and finally get something out that made sense. And, I don't know if you have the same thing when you make music, but quite often in electronic music, you have the impression when your record comes out that the kick is never loud enough. And you're like, fuck, I should have put 2 dBs more on the kick or whatever.
Yeah.
And I had that on the first record. I was like, and my mastering engineer was like, no, it sounds good, it sounds great, etc. And I have 2 good monitors here, but it felt like it missed something. And then in late 2011, the first record came out, and I was going to New York City for fun, and I had taken a few records with me to give away to people. It was Alcyon, the record store in Brooklyn. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it was the good record store. HALCION or something like that.
Halcyon.
Yes,
yeah.
And there was a guy working there, Freeman something. Robert Freeman?
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Albert Freeman.
Albert, yeah.
So I meet him and I'm like, okay, he's the number one. And they have this amazing sound system in the record store, and he plays the record. And the record takes so much room in the store. I'm like, okay, no, in fact, I did it right.
Right.
And I had the same feeling the first time I played it. I like to play my own tracks, and I like to play old tracks and not limit myself to new tracks. And 10 years ago when I played in Bergen and did the opening, after I played the first record, the first Knotweed, and again, it took so much room in that room that I was like, okay, in fact, the kick is loud enough. Everything is at the right place. It's fine.
Right.
And that's a good feeling, when you're never sure of yourself if you don't play that much, and you're like, does it sound right, etc. But when you hear somebody playing your record, or if you play your own on a good sound system, whether it's in a record store or in a club, and suddenly you're like, oh, this is place. This is the best. Like Myles, when you were in Trésor in February when we came to see you, and you played the last Mac Darrell, the B2 or Ode to Detroit or whatever the track is called, and it's such a recognizable track, and right away you were mixing it with whatever, and I'm like, okay, this is a new Knotweed. and the production of Mike was just taking the whole room. I was like, yes, this is right. And if you go back to what we were saying earlier, not selling many records, I don't give a fuck.
Right.
I heard Myles playing it in Trésor, and I know it sounds right. And so I know I am right. I know Myles is right to play it. And I know Mike Darrell was right into its production. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
And like we said earlier on, people might discover it later on, and that's fine.
Yeah. Mike's amazing, man. I just like, since, we going back, I remember he first told me his demos.
Mm-hmm.
I actually told him no.
Yeah, okay.
And it was basically because at the same time, God, what's the guy that was one in Fatchwork?
Oh, Mike Dennert.
Mike Dennert. It's Mike and Mike. So when he had Sunny, when I was doing 616 with Brian, we actually had 2 releases from Mike Dennert. And it was before he switched his style up.
Mm-hmm.
So what we were, the Fatchwork stuff wasn't out. I don't think Fatchwork was even out yet. Yes. He might have had 1 release, but he did 2 with us. And I remember we were trying to put that release out because we did a digital, and we finally got a distribution deal. I'm like, yo, can we put that out? And he's like, no, because I don't make that type of music anymore. And he turned to what he's known for. But the release was dope. But anyway, long story short, Mike Darrell hit me up. He's like, yeah, my friend, Mike Dennard, told me to send you some music.
Excellent.
And at the time, I was like, okay, cool, that's whatever. And I listened to it. And this is from my label. So it was, we were still doing 616, but I wrote him back and I said, yeah, thanks for the demo, but no, I'm going to pass on it. And he wrote back. He was like, why? It's not dope. My friend told me it was dope. And I said, yeah, that's the problem. It's dope, but it sounds just like Mike. So, and that was my opinion, you know what I mean? So I'm not saying that it did, but they were very similar at some point. Like I could see some of the cues, but later on, like maybe a year later, he had sung me some more. And
you can be influenced by somebody. It makes sense.
Yeah.
And Mike was definitely influenced by the early Fast Track days, and he's good friend with Sacha Riedel and Romain Lindo and Mike Dennard, I guess.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I guess they were living in the little micro bubble of Berlin, and he started to make that music. It sounds similar. Well, so what? It had. In fact, if you listen to it now, he has totally his own style.
Yeah. He's progressed.
It made you think maybe of Dennard or Fatschwerk.
Yeah. And that's because at the time, like, Dennard was the only one doing that.
Yes.
So it was like, okay, cool. But I'm glad that I didn't like dismiss him, because he did 2 releases for me, and now he needs something, vice versa. Hey, yeah, I got you. You remix, I got you. He's probably done like 3 or 4 remixes for me. Yes. And I'm sitting on one now that's not out yet, but it's coming out. But that's what I'm saying. Like, when we were talking about earlier, like, how does my relations, most of my musical relationships with people in music, we're actually friends in real life.
Yes.
It's not just this music thing. And like, I remember the first time I played in Berlin, Mike showed up. I didn't know what to expect, because he's short. He's not big. He's a short guy, So he was like, hey, so, but we've always kept in contact. And
yes,
like, that's what I like personally. I think a lot of people don't understand that, because this music stuff is cool. I use the music to meet. We get attracted to people to do similar things, but once that traction there, you got to keep building that, and that you can make friends out of that. It's a perfect thing, because this music can come and go, but my friendships with you two, Mike, that's always going to be there. You know what I mean? So that's what I really get out of all this music stuff, though.
And to rebound on the music sounding similar, which because quite soon after his release on Reform, we did the Knotweed 2, and then I think we've done 8 or 9 releases together, and we've done many. I mean, he's the key person in Knotweed almost. But it never crossed my mind. Maybe because I was not so much immersed in the new techno, because I was coming out of London, and I was not into the Berlin scene, and I was making my own music. And he sent me this music, and I thought, it's great. I like the release on Reform. I like the demos. Fine, done. And after that, that's how Gonzalo MD from Argentina. I mean, in fact, I think I contacted him because he did a podcast already in the early days in 2012 or whatever.
That was actually my next question for you. So
yeah, for some French people that I knew, and he had some of his own tracks in there. The track that ended up being the A side of Knotweed 4, 48 Hours of Lobby, and I thought it was fantastic. I was like, this is fucking great. And again, I'm not, Gonzalo was probably 23 or 24. I didn't realize in the early days of internet. I hear something. I released Mike Darrell. I'm like, okay, no, I'm on a roll. I'm going to find some other people releasing cool music. So I'm sending him a message oh, you're interested in releasing on Knotweed? It's like, yeah, right. You know, if somebody contacts you, of course you're like, and you're like, yeah, definitely. And he sent me some tracks, and I made a selection, and again, he has a very particular sounds, Gonzalo, especially in the early days. And this record, I'm like, this is the bomb. So we released Knotweed 4. Knotweed 3 was me again. Knotweed 4 is Gonzalo. I'm like, it's so amazing, this music with a lot of reverb on the kicks, and some guys come to me and said he copied the music from somebody else. So I was 6 months in this fucking industry, and I started to get all these emails. These tracks are rip-offs from this and that. I'm like, if I'm not talking to you, I'm like sweating at my desk. I'm like, fuck, what is wrong? What do you? I'm like, I get fucked. This is so fucked. I'm just starting a label, and somebody's telling me that I'm like, okay, rip-off of what? Oh, of a Jonas Kopp track of track. And I'm like, send me the track. And they send me the track, and I'm like, it has nothing to do with what we released. So suddenly I'm like,
right.
And they're like, no, it's the same kick. And I'm like, whatever. It has nothing to do with it. But some
same kick.
Yeah, exactly.
We all be sued.
The same kick.
And to make a long story short, it was very funny because then there was some beef with Jonas because he was like, oh, he stole my kick. I'm like, Jonas, you're giving lessons of how to make techno in Buenos Aires. Gonzalo came to a few lessons with you. So clearly he learned some techniques from you. So clearly the kick might sound the same. But it didn't even sound the same. I mean, I've spent hours trying to figure out where they were so annoyed because the Curly label in Belgium. And I couldn't figure it out. I was like, there's nothing in common. But they were like, it's the same. You need to take the records off the market. I'm like, fuck you. It's not the same record. And to make a long story short, I got to meet Jonas, and we got along really well. And he even came to Chamonix with his daughter, and we had a good meal at my house. And he was like, whatever. He was not the one making the beef. It was the label he had released on Curly, which was a Belgian label, who was saying, it's the same track. It's just, and I kept listening. I was like, it has nothing to do. And still to this day, I don't understand. But how I got really scared because I was like, I'm so fucked. I'm new in this scene, and I'm getting into the politics. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
And after I saw that it was a shitstorm in a toilet for nothing. Then I got much more comfortable. I was like, okay, this is gonna happen more and more. Forget about it. If I like the music, I trust my people. It's all gonna be fine. And so it's a funny story like that. And when some music sounding similar, even there's a track of mine when I release much later, Knotweed 42, that I call Everyday Sunshine, and I prepared it, I sent it to mastering, to pressing, and then suddenly I'm like, fuck, it sounds like a Detroit song. I don't remember which Kevin Saunders song. And I'm like, and then suddenly my own music that I'm sending to pressing, and suddenly I'm at my desk and I'm like, this sounds completely like this Kevin Saunders song. Everybody's gonna fall on me and saying you ripped off a song and you copied it. And then I called the distributor, DJ, and I said, "Do you think does a track make you think like something?" And they're like, "No, it's great. It's a fantastic track. It's gonna sell." I'm like, okay, and I'm like, "What about if I tell you that it sounds like Good Life or whatever it was?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, now that you talk about it, I see what you mean, but no, it's a different track. So stop stressing. We're releasing it." And there I get shit from nobody. I mean, and of course I didn't copy anything. I was on my Ableton making my music, but you're influenced. You have influences. Like Mike was influenced by the Flashback guys, and Gonzalo maybe in the early days was influenced by Jonas, and I'm influenced by the Detroit scene in general.
Yeah.
And so, techno has been there for 30 years now. So of course, once in a while, there's some crosses and sounds that sound the same. But I'm totally against copying. But sometimes you can be unlucky in that something sounds like something that you didn't know about, or shit happens.
Right, that's true.
But I'm, it's not like the crazy stuff that happened in 10 years ago when the guy from on Trésor released an EP that was 3 stolen tracks or 3 copied tracks. All these stories. I mean, there are real stories of people with no creativity that just cut and paste and copy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that's annoying, and I'm totally against that. Of course, it makes sense to be totally against that.
Yeah, that's when I remember. I don't know, the guy from Arts, Emmanuel.
Yes.
With him, and I couldn't. I mean, when I went down, I reached out to him, and I'm like, hey, we're not that cool, but we've had we've talked a few times, and I wrote him, and we talked for a little bit. And I'm like, what's going on? You know what I mean? And he told me, and I listened to the track, that they're claiming he stole. I couldn't tell the difference.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't sound so. I mean, I think a lot of that stuff is like, it's driven by, different sources of people. Like, oh, well, I don't like him, so
yeah,
stole my track.
Yeah.
And I mean, regardless, a lot of people thought he was really scared and thought that was in his career. And look at him now.
Yes.
He puts out music every fucking week, and it's all good music.
You got the biggest label out there. So.
It's huge, you know what I mean? So that little thing didn't stop him, you know what I mean? And it could have stopped him if he would have thought about it and just said, it could have stopped him in his tracks, but he didn't, he didn't think about it. So
yeah.
I remember downloading that release because I was starting to release digital promos. I thought, this is great. And then the shitstorm hit, and I'm like, oh, okay, I see what they mean, but I still like the tracks, whatever.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, like if we all wanted to be, if it was up to Roland, we all would be in jail and we all would be paying money.
Yeah.
You saw that kick sound. That's and we want our money by the end of the month.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So, how did you your time in London? How was that for you? Did you enjoy it? I know you were there because for work, but did that really kind of influence you on the whole electronic music side?
So what happened? I touched briefly on it, but what happened is, I was making metal music. I was DJing at that time in the early 90s, more hip hop, funk, dance floor, jazz, whatever. And I got offered, and I could see, and I was really enjoying making metal music, playing with my band. We were touring, we were playing a lot in Brussels and sometimes around Belgium, and one gig in France or whatever. So it was fun, and we had this demo that was working. So, and I had finished university, and I had a job at the European Commission.
Okay.
And that was paying really well, even for a young 22-year-old like me. I had a job at the university doing finance equation for the finance teacher, which was fun. And then I had a job at the European Commission working on energy efficiency, 35 years before everybody, energy efficiency project. And that was, for the time, a lot of money. And it was, so I could make my music doing on the side. I had time, and I had serious jobs. And then I got an offer to work for a bank in London. And I moved. I had to start, and there, the reason I said yes, I said, well, maybe first I wanted to move out of Brussels, and it was supposed to be for 1 year only. I had a 1 year contract.
Okay.
I thought, okay, 1 year in London, fine. We'll see, discover something new, and then in 1 year I'm back in Brussels, and back with my metal band, etc. And then 1 year turned into a 15. Stopped the band, and didn't have any time to make music, not with my guitars, and definitely not learning electronic music. It was too much.
Wow. Okay.
But I had a lot of time for to go. I mean, I made a lot of time to go party because London is a party town. So I was working like my ass off and going to a lot of parties, and we can talk about that in a minute. And I worked, and it went well. It went well. It went very well. It went very, very, very well. It went extremely well. And then suddenly in 2009, I said, okay, I think I have enough to go and make some electronic music without having to compromise myself and to keep my integrity. And so I quit London and moved to Chamonix. So that's what happened, and that's why I can make music and make the label without compromising the style of the music I release, because I don't need it to be commercial. I like it.
Right.
So why Chamonix? Why there? I know you
for snowboarding, in fact.
For snowboarding.
Yes, I'm a skateboarder at heart. I started skateboarding in '78 and skateboarded a lot. And refused to get into, and I couldn't go to snowboarding started in mid-late 80s, and I had some American friends who had a place in Chamonix, and they were like, oh, you need to come in the winter for a week and learn snowboarding. It's like skateboarding. I was like, fuck that. concrete, I'm in the streets. And really, I didn't have money to go to do Brussels, Chamonix. The mountains are an expensive place, so and I didn't have money to even spend a week in the mountains. So I was being a rebel, saying fuck the mountains, but also I couldn't go to the mountains. And then in '93, '94, just before going to London, I was working a bit more for the European Commission and made a bit of money to pay for a holiday, and I went some winter '94 we did a road trip by car from Brussels, 10 hours from Brussels to Chamonix. Went to my American friends, snowboarded for a week because I could afford it for once, and it was just amazing. I was like, okay, I don't hurt myself as much as skateboarding. I love it. But that was that. I got back to Brussels, then I got the job in London late '94. And late '94 is when EasyJet started its first route, which was London Geneva. And so we started to be able to come another week, and then another week, and then I started to make more money so we can come at the weekend. And so we started to do a bit, and then I found a club here in Chamonix where I could play. So I left my record here, and I was DJing at the weekends at the same time and snowboarding like a madman. And then I thought, oh, well, maybe one day I can see myself here in Chamonix. But I was working my ass off in London, and again, Chamonix is expensive. So I was like, forget about that. That's not going to happen. And then back to the banking thing, I started to do well, and I bought a house here 22 years ago, which is where I am now. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to redo the house so that when I retire, when I'm 60, I'll be able to live in the mountains and have a happy life, retired life in the mountains. And then the retirement age came much earlier than expected. and so that's how I finished full time in Chamonix in 2010. Basically, we left London, stopped the banking thing, and moved here to enjoy life.
Yeah.
And while in London, I was DJing, interesting gigs left and right. Not much, but enough. I was buying a lot of music, and we were going out a lot because it was the golden years of London techno. So you had DN that had opened the club from Mr. C. We went at the opening in '95. We were going almost every Saturday, unless there was a Lost Party from Steve Bicknell.
Oh, Steve!
That was all over London. So we started to go to the Lost Parties, and then on Monday there was Bar Roomba That's How It Is parties with acid jazz with Jazz Peterson and the Mowax guy, James Lavelle. On Tuesday was quiet. Wednesday was house parties, Luke Salomon, I think, in Barroomba again. Thursday, they opened Ultimate Bass, Carl Cox and Jim Masters in a tiny club in Tottenham Court Road, where everybody and his sister was coming to play before doing the big gigs at the weekend. So you could see from DJ Rush to Jeff Mills to anybody in front of 200 people on a Thursday night. Friday was drum and bass. Usually we were not really into that. And Saturday was back to techno again. And in the middle, I was working like a madman.
Wow.
So that was our 15 years in London, really partying hard, working hard, and so indirectly focusing on the music and through the partying, but not making music at that time. Mm-hmm. And we saw amazing DJs in amazing venues, usually small. The end was felt small. I don't know what the capacity was, but it was small. Lost parties were every quarter or something like that, and he had all the good guys from the States playing. You had the red room, which was the banging room, and you had the blue room, which was the ambient room. Back in these days, you always had a techno room and an ambient room, so you could relax from your pill while you. and so many good parties, and then and then Steve Bicknell started to have parties in another place called Plastic People. Smaller parties again called Space Base, where every other weekend there was a Space Base where he was playing sort of old school funk, but with a repetitive beat, and then he had Juan Atkins playing in front of again 200 people. These were the days. It was just amazing. It was. Mm-hmm. No, I'm not going out tonight. I need to work tomorrow. And I was like, yeah, maybe an hour.
Yeah.
And then it's cut off an Ultimate Bass, which was in town close to the bank I was working for at the time. That was finishing at 3 a.m. So sometimes out of the bank at 9 or 10 in the evening, I was going in my suit and tie to the club. And the bouncer knew me. It was funny because it was all the clubbing kids, and then there was a guy in suit and tie. So I was taking my tie. I said, "Yeah, come in front of the line." And
that's cool. It's cool.
I was the crazy guy in suit and tie that was going to these weird techno parties.
Yeah.
Good old Steve. I played on one of his Burgundy parties back in days because I missed a flight for one of the. I was supposed to play with Jeff Mills actually on the Lost Party. Yeah. And in Detroit, I got in the line a little bit too late, so they didn't let me get on the flight. Steve was mad at me for about a whole year, but then he ended up booking me again. He thought I was just not trying to come, but actually, I told him it wasn't my fault. They actually at the airline, they didn't even let me board the plane. But I chalked it up as you never know. Maybe I wasn't supposed to be on that flight, so he still booked me. Anyway, but the question I was going to ask you, being that you were in Brussels. Do you happen to know Joost from Surreal Sound magazine and D-Jack? D-Jacking Zone. D-Jack was his girlfriend Propane and this other guy, I can't remember his name now, but they're making a lot of parties. Like my first tour in Europe was actually as a Joost, the Eliza from Surreal Sound magazine. He hooked it up. And then D-Jack and Propane and they had these gig set up for the first weekend, but then the second weekend I was playing down in Germany at the Ultra Show Upstart. Yeah. But I was just curious if you knew them cats. Because
no, I was not in that scene.
Okay.
But,
It's just
But I was still in Brussels when they opened the Fuse. Mm-hmm. Which is still going on today, which is the techno club in Belgium. And I got to see Stacy Pullen and a few others, but it was really there. I was just a clubber going to the club. And then there were parties in Antwerp, acid parties. And it was quite I forgot the name of the place, but really good on Sunday night quite often with Is This 100% Amsterdam? And I think her boyfriend at the time. So there was all these amazing DJs. So I was starting to follow a bit what was going on, but I was not neck deep into it. In fact, I was 90, 91, 92, 93 is when acid jazz exploded, and all the acid jazz bands were touring. So like Jazz Mataz, Ronnie Jordan, The Goats, and I was DJing before and after these gigs.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my scene. Not techno yet. I was really, but for these gigs, because the gigs were usually an hour and a half, 2 hours, they wanted somebody to warm up the crowd before and somebody to play after when people were leaving. And so that was my scene more.
Okay. I was just curious because the whole Brussels.
But there was a very strong scene in Belgium in general, in Brussels in particular.
Oh yeah, even Ellipsia Records is there in Brussels. Gregory.
Yes.
So it's Brussels.
And I remember there's a. I will always remember there was a party in Central Station, train station, in the middle of Brussels.
Oh, okay.
And probably 90 or 91. To this day, I still don't know the lineup. To find the entrance, because it was really in the train station, I don't know how they pulled it off.
Jeez.
To find that train station in the center of Brussels has at least 16 entrances. You need to find the one entrance where you could go in. You got in, you just followed the
okay.
And that was really my first crazy techno experience. We got in, and it was so loud, so crazy. It was okay. This is something for me. I don't know what it is, but it's crazy. And to this day, I'm asking, do you know who was playing to people who were more in the scene? I didn't find a flyer. I don't know who was playing, but I know it was nuts.
Yeah.
And that's what really got me into it.
Okay.
And then guys like Stacy Pullen, Carl Gregg, Derek May started to play, and they were already known back in the days, and so there were names I had heard about, and so I was like, okay, that guy is playing there, so that's probably worth checking out, and so I started to go to this kind of parties, and that was my first exposure to the real techno scene, to the techno alive, because I said back in these days, so-called techno was huge, but it's like so-called techno of today. Mm-hmm. You had all these big festivals, but with horrible kiddies music.
Yeah.
And then that sort of disappeared, and now it's back in full force.
Yeah. Full circle.
Yes. What can you do about it? Not much.
Embrace it.
To carry the flame of real techno and do what we like to do, and it's fine. But it was interesting, Donnell, because you were saying you played in Poland yesterday, and it was a little bit more commercial, you were saying.
Yeah.
But last month I played for the 30th birthday of the son of a friend of mine. So his father, he used to have a bar in Chamonix. I played a lot for him in Chamonix. They know exactly my music. The son turned 30. He saw me play maybe 6-7 times. He knows my music. The father knows my music really well. And he's like, I'm going to do this party in a remote chalet in the woods. Can you play?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I can play, but my music. I'm not going to compromise. I'm going to play my music. Are you sure your friends are ready for that? Because I'm going to come with my music, and I'm not going to be able to divert into other things. He said, yeah. It was really interesting. It was a small party, maybe 40-50 people, and I ripped a lot of my old house records, like you were saying. So not well-known things, but things that are groovy, nice. All the roughneck. Everybody wants to be somebody, and that kind of stuff. All New York house stuff, and I played. They thought I was going to play 2 hours. I played 5 hours.
Oh wow!
And they were all like, "What's this music? What? This is great. We never heard this music." And so there's hope. You had a bunch of 30 years old who were totally into it without knowing what they were getting into. Right. And it was the best experience of so far this year, for sure. because that's what it's all about, is to pass the torch. And I'm like, okay, there's at least 20 people more that are gonna understand what we're trying to do, and that before that I had no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool though, man, that the younger people are getting exposed. And
you need to feed them with the good music. They're fed up with shit all day long.
Yeah.
And so when you tell them, oh, you play techno, they think whatever they want to think, but they don't think what we play. They think and then when you tell them a story for 5 hours, starting with dubby, housey stuff, even, you know, there's a track that I always have in my bag, which is a Radio Slave did a track, one of in this No Sleep series, which is a beat over a Herbie Hancock track from the 70s. It's just amazing. It lasts 12 minutes. It's just this piano, and then there's a Herbie Hancock piano solo for 6 minutes. Everybody goes nuts. Whether you know music or not, whether you know techno, whether you know house, you hear that track, everybody agrees something's happening. And when you play that track afterwards, you can play whatever you want. And during that party, I played the Subtle Minds from Decoder on your label.
Okay.
That I discovered during your Trésor party. And so I played that later on in the party. At that time, they were all flying. I mean, I'm telling you, they were flying high.
Okay.
And that's music released on your label recently. So we're doing the right thing. It's just we're preaching for a small church that we're trying to open up, but you know, it is what it is.
So how did you find Brendan?
Brendan is a funny story. I saw him play in Geneva I think just before the label started, or just when the label started in 2011 or 12.
Okay.
In a tiny venue, and there was nobody. There was 30 people there. And Brendan Muller, right? Ecologist.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. Most amazing music. I mean, like this dubbed in La Gravière, where I played a lot afterwards. Amazing sound system, really good gig. And because it was so good, he was done, and I went to talk to him afterwards and present myself. I just started a label, blah, blah, blah. And in fact, I sent him some music from label. He ended up doing a various artists, Tales from the Bubble or something, with a track from Opus Vec, a track from Mike, and no tracks from me. But that's okay. I didn't take it personally. But I was happy that clearly a guy like that thought that the music I was releasing on Knotweed was worth releasing on Steadfast. So we kept in touch, and I always send him promos. And he lives in New York, in the suburbs of New York, I think.
Okay.
And he rarely comes to Europe.
Yeah, because I heard he doesn't fly.
That's what I heard as well.
That's what I heard. Yeah. Which is.
It is.
Yeah.
I think it's something part of his health. He cannot fly.
Okay.
I don't know the details, or maybe I'm wrong, but he rarely flies. And when we got close to the 10 years of Knotweed, I thought, I'm just gonna, and we were always, you know, when I send him releases, he's always like, oh, this is super good. You always have a nice relationship with the promos. You always have a nice word on, it takes time to listen to them, etc. So I thought, can I ask you if you want to release a Knotweed for the 10 years of Knotweed? He said, yeah, of course. And that's how we did the Knotweed 44. It's not twist, not dub. He did a specific Knotweed release, and it was great. And so we did a second one, and then we did a third one, and then he participated to the Live Switch EP with you, and yeah, so we got, again, we met physically, even if it was brief, and that's how I dared to approach him and to talk to him, and he seemed like a nice guy, and he is a nice guy.
Yeah, he's cool, man. He did Joshua. He did a remix for Joshua's release on Culver City.
Okay.
And I was afraid, but I didn't know how to approach him. And he was like, yeah, because but the release for you, I think that was the door opener. And he was like, yeah, I'll do it, no problem.
Yeah.
And it's dope, man. And I've always seen the name, but I've never really, paid too much attention until now. And I'll go back and listen. That guy is dope. And I didn't know he was from the States.
Yeah. He's South African originally.
Oh, okay.
Yes. But super nice guy.
Yeah.
No, it's funny. Even though you've both been in the scene forever, you're thinking, oh, maybe I should ask that person if he wants to do a remix or a release on my label. You're like, do I dare to approach him or her? And you're like, maybe not. And but in fact, if the people are nice, they're gonna have a nice answer, even if it's a no. It's and I like to finally take the courage and to say, okay, are you willing to do a release for the 10th anniversary? And he's like, yes. And so he's pumped, I'm pumped, and it ended up being a great release.
Yeah. I got one last question for you, actually. So I kind of can see the difference between the two labels.
My two labels?
Yeah.
Decision making
theory. What DTM? Like, what was the purpose?
Okay, so it's quite funny. So as I said in the early part of the show, I thought Knotweed would only be me. Knotweed from number 2 onward was Mike, and then Gonzalo, and then you, and Terence Dixon, and more. And then at that time, I had figured out Ableton. So I was producing a lot of music, spending a lot of time on my computer. And I thought, okay, I need to start another label to release more music. So that's how it started. And I was making more minimal tracks. I don't know if you call them minimal or whatever. I mean, I was making tracks. For me, it was the same, in the same alley of what I was doing. But then I contacted DJ and said, are you willing to release because you were releasing on DJ, so you got me in touch with Marcus. I said, are you willing to try for a new label? They said yes. And that's why DMT1 came out. And then that was completely crazy because it was just 2 tracks on one-sided vinyl.
Yep.
And I sent it to Ben Clark, to my usual. I used to do the promo really by one person, maybe 50 emails or whatever. I sent it to Ben Clark, and I don't think I got an answer. But then he had his Boiler Room in February 2013. I think the month where the release was coming. And his Boiler Room, and he's playing, and he has Nina Kravitz dancing behind him. And then suddenly around minute 40, he starts to play Take, DMT1, which is going to be out in a week. And the whole place goes fucking bananas. and I'm like talking to you now, looking at the live Boiler Room, and I'm like, Sandra, come on, have a look. He's playing my track. It's crazy. And so clearly, because of that, people had the attention span of a bit longer than today. So the track started to make the rounds. Everybody started to play it. And the first DMT got sold very quickly, the vinyl. And then we released the second one, and Ben started to play even more, Scrape. And then I thought, okay, well, Knotweed will be for the other artists, and DMT will be only my music now. So where I thought I would start with Knotweed, my own music, I thought Knotweed will be for all the other artists, and DMT will only be my music. So DMT 1, 2, 3, 4 was a various artists, but still 5. And then I thought 6 would be me. And then there was a problem. I needed DMT 7 called Attack, was supposed to be released on Deeply Rooted House, the label from DJ Deep. And I thought, okay, if I release on Deeply Rooted House, then I can get another guy releasing on DMT, and that's why Gonzalo did the DMT 6.
Okay.
And then DJ Deep said, no, in fact, I'm not going to release it. It's like, okay, right. And to make a long story short, that became DMT 7, and then DMT. So other people appeared on DMT as well, but mostly Gonzalo. But it was just to have another channel to market for my music and then for my friends' music.
Gotcha. Yeah, that sounds like me. I think every label except MS. That's where I finally said, "Hey, this is it."
Yeah,
the labels are. Oh, it's me, and they don't turn out that way. You know what I mean? So
yeah. I didn't kill DMT. I haven't released the last DMT with 25 was I think 2022. You know, maybe there'll be some more. Who knows? It's there. It's dormant. But no, I focus on Knotweed.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens next.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, and so I have a few cool releases, but digital, that are coming up. So no gigs, but at least some people seem to appreciate my music. I'm not going to mention who yet, but labels I released on before, big labels. So I'm really stoked. You know, when you're on your own, whether it's in Grand Rapids or in Warsaw or in Chamonix, and nobody books you and nobody listens to your music, and it's suddenly somebody said, let's do an EP together. You're like, yes, I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
I just got 2 of these that will be digitally released, I think, before the end of the year. You'll hear about them, and so it's exciting. So it pumped me up a bit, and it gave me a bit of confidence again in the demo sending around. So it's exciting.
It's a little boost battery, the boost in the back.
And then I'll start again saying, look, I have 2 releases on this and that. So why don't you book me? You know, put on your flyer saying Philippe Petit, Symbolism, Re-Kids, whatever.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
That's cool.
I'm still there. I practice.
Yeah.
I still can DJ. You can book me.
It's like a bike. It's like
many cool gigs together. I mean, that's also what I liked about Knotweed is we did Knotweed event. I knew we were more in the States, so it was more difficult, but we played together. I did many gigs with Mike Darrell, with Lee Holman, with Invite. We did decision-making theory nights in Suicide Circus. We did a Knotweed night in Trésor, believe it or not, just before the pandemic. And so it's good to be able to gather your friends and to play together, because we don't see each other that often. So when we're behind the decks, it's even more fun.
See, D, you got to get on that week, man. He needs to do a release for Philippe.
I need to stockpile some more tracks up.
Yes,
as well. You know, finish up some stuff, because I've been busy myself. But you know, no excuses.
No.
Just need to get it done. But you know, also the stuff's got to be right. You know, I can't just, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna put 150% in whatever I'm gonna do. So if I'm not putting in 150%, then I'm just not doing it. You know, especially when I know, okay, it could be better. But I'm always open to give tracks to friends. You know, no money and all that. We just trade or something. You know.
Yeah, as I said, my way to do the business, I forget about contracts. I'm telling people, if it gets in the black, I share 50-50 with you.
Yeah.
And people trust me or don't trust me. It is what it is. I think I'm a trustworthy person. So, and as I said, I never paid you, Myles, because the records are not in the black. But you can ask. Some people get some money.
Yeah, it's all good, man.
Yeah,
that's the best way to work, man. I work with my friends, you know.
Yeah. And I'm really proud of the releases we did together. So that's the most important part.
Yes, I'm trying to get back, man. I gotta go for number 3 at some point. So
yes, share alike.
There you go, man. There you go.
Share the work.
What other than no gigs happening? You got the 2 releases coming out, and anything else you got going in the works? Band, you gonna reunite the band? You gonna do some metal? What's going on?
I don't drink anymore.
Oh,
so that's something big going on. I've been 8 months on the wagon, or whatever you say. 8 months without a drop of alcohol.
That's good.
So,
we'll clap that up for sure.
That's my new thing.
Yeah.
40 years with booze was enough. I can spend a few years without.
Yeah.
But apart from that, no, I'm just having a good time, enjoying the heat wave, enjoying my time with Sandra, and having a good time having this conversation with you guys.
Yeah. We thank you for having it, man. For sure.
Yeah.
D, what you got going, man?
Same stuff as I was saying from the last time. Waiting for September to put some stuff out again, and some future gigs coming. I can't say now because the agent said not to. We have to wait, but that's in the future. Because like right now, I'm not sure I want to jump on the road and be going somewhere too far. But always music too. Like I'm working like a beast these days, making tracks. How about yourself?
Oh, now I can remember who I was working with. Please don't. Excuse me. So yeah, I'm finishing up a project with me and Jamie Bismer.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're doing a split EP. He agreed. That's one of my favorite artists. So I was shocked that he agreed to do it. So his tracks are done. Did one last night, and I'm gonna work on another one tonight. Hopefully I can get it done. I have to start a project, an EP for a Decoder and his label. So I got some kind of things I'm working on. I just gotta get to do those. And then next week I'm going to, for the first time, I'm going to Detroit to go to Tightrope.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna hopefully meet up with a few people with Kevin and James and whoever else is out there. Just kind of see it. I've never been, and they told me I should go. They believe it's probably the better festival, and it's free.
Yeah.
So if you guys are in Detroit, go to Tightrope. Our guy Joshua Tree is actually volunteering. He's a part of that whole organization too. Okay. So he'll be there. So go check it out. And I'm also playing a party for Josh. He's throwing called Communion. There'll be more information on my social medias for that, flyers, etc. But I'll be doing that. So I'll be playing that night too. So if you're in Detroit, come out to Tightrope. Afterwards, come check me out. Or whoever else, there's other parties going on too, but it should be a good time.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it should be all right, man. Definitely. Oh, there he is.
Thanks.
ESJ. Greetings to you, man. We were missing you today. He usually pops in.
Yeah.
But thank you for popping in. We appreciate you.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man. So
good.
Yeah.
Well, thanks you guys.
Yeah. So everybody, if you like what you're seeing today, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. Let's see, Philippe points down too. And hit that notification bell so you can see when we're doing our next show or whatever. So when we're doing stuff, you'll be there. You know what I mean? And other than us two, you probably want to see Philippe's beautiful face, but you hate us. That's fine. If you don't want to see us, you just want to hear you're outside cutting grass like I usually do, or at work or whatever, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon. That's MS Live with D-KNOX. We're there. Make sure when you are there to hit that subscribe button there so you can also get notifications to see us there. And to hear us there, not see us, hear us. And also follow us on Instagram. That's MS Live with D-KNOX. On X, formerly known as Twitter, at Myles Sergé. Info, different things we're going to be posting there. Go check that out. And, of course, the dreaded email. You can email us.
My favorite way to communicate is email.
There you go. MSLive with D-KNOX at gmail.com. That is MSLive with D-KNOX at gmail.com. Email us. And
I'll show you something.
Uh-oh.
Not many people have this.
Oh wow!
It's
Metallica?
before Kill 'Em All. The first live. It's not a demo. It's what they released before the first album came out. War Note Tape 82, I think.
Oh wow!
In San Francisco.
Okay.
Tapes, guys.
That's crazy.
Metallica.
That's coming back. Tapes, everybody.
I DJ'd for the end of the Black Album tour in '93.
Oh wow!
Okay, that's a nice story to finish.
Yeah.
The last two gigs in summer '93 for the Black Album tour were in Belgium, and on Saturday night they did a big party. And at that time, I already had a lot of house and techno.
Mm-hmm.
And I DJ'd. It was nuts in Ghent, and the roadies were giving me pills. Like, yeah, you're a good DJ, giving pills. I was not doing drugs, and drugs were expensive. It was like a pill for 20 euros or 3 records. It's like, I want 3 records. I don't want drugs.
Right.
But the gig was good. It was incredible because it was Metallica, and I got to see them live the next day. But I got home after the gig quite early at 3 a.m. with like 20 pills in my pocket. And seriously, and then all my friends were like, fuck me, we need to try these. And that's how I tried my first ecstasy.
Oh wow!
There you go.
See there? And he did it by DJing. And speaking of that, you can book us to DJ.
Yep.
Booking inquiries me with position 2 bookings at gmail.com. Mr. D-KNOX is with Stellar Bookings. Email them, bookings@stellarbookings.com. We would greatly appreciate it. And also, since we're talking about DJing, Philippe is a phenomenal DJ. Hit him up. He does his own booking, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
So he's great. His details are in the description of this show. So everything's there. You can hit him up there. And while you're there, make sure you check him out. Check his links out. Check all of our links out because it's all there, everybody. And support, And also, speaking of support, if you watch the end of the show, there is a reel of our supporters that support us. So please take the time, watch the whole video out. There's some new people on there. And check them out because without them, there won't be us and vice versa. So if you support us, support them.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Yeah, for sure. So thank you, everybody. And let's give it up one more time for Philippe.
Thank you, guys.
Yes.
I'm going to dinner now.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure. And
all right, brother.
Oh, one more thing before I get out of here. So next week, there won't be a show. We're taking a little break. But the following week, after we get done with this broadcast, probably the next half hour, I am going to put up the information for the next show. Please pay attention because the next show is going to be like a double header. So we're going to have 2 guests, and it's going to be a Saturday night, kind of Saturday weird. It's a weird timing because one of the guests is actually in Hong Kong. So for me and Donnell, it's a 6-hour time difference. So now it's a 12-hour time difference. So it's 12 hours and then a 6-hour difference. And then where I'm at. So it's trying to find a way to make this work. And the next day we have our normal regular scheduled time with our other guests. So it's getting like a double header thing. So I don't know how this is going to work, but please support.
Yeah.
So until then, thank you, everybody. Thank you for hanging with us. And we'll see.
Thanks, Myles.
Thank you for sure.
Thank you, man. Much love.
We'll see y'all later.
See you soon, guys. Have a good evening.
Yep.